Gutenberg is the default editor in WordPress, and you can access it by going into editing mode on a post or on a page. Let's work on a post for now. So when we go into posts, we have two posts, Hello World and the draft. And when we go to editing mode over here, we are taken to the WordPress editor. So here on the left side of the Gutenberg, you have an exact preview of how the page will look like on the front end. It has the same colors, same fonts. However, when we hover or click on an individual element in the page, we have some extra options. For example, if I click on this paragraph, then on the right side over here, it says that it's a paragraph. Then I also can change the text alignment. I can make it bold, italic, or I can create a link. Or I have some additional options as well over here. And we have font size. We can change the color. Or we can change the background color if we want. And then if we go to advanced, we can add an anchor. So we can make a unique web address just for this particular block of text. It is called an anchor. So Gutenberg by default comes with a lot of blocks that are organized in categories. So we have anything from common typography blocks like paragraphs and headings to code blocks, to buttons, to columns, etc. When we go to post here, we see that there are categories. We can assign a category to this, and we can see the visibility, publish date, etc. If we want to move this to trash, we can do so. And if I want to add a new block, I can go over here and say add a new block, and I will be asked whether I want another paragraph or a heading or a list or a quote, code block, etc. So whichever the block I need, I can select it, and then the new block will be added on my post. And even further, we have several other things that we can add. For example, we can add a media, we can add an image or a file or a video, and we can also add a button or a column. We have widgets, etc. So let's see, to add a column. Okay, so let's select 50-50. So we now have two columns. For this column, I can add a block. Let's say I'm adding a code there. And then here, let's say I need a heading. So here I can add a heading. And then over here, I can write my code. So I added a column block and then added two separate blocks to the two columns that I chose. If you want to add images or any media item, then we can go to media, and I have the library where I have my media file stored. Or if I want to add new items, then I can say add new and choose media items from the local machine. So if I go to the library, I will be able to see the things that exist already. There are no media items at the moment. I can add a new media file. And then if I want to add one of these images that I got into the media library into a post, then I shall go into the post in the edit mode. Let's add a block for the image. Let's search here image. Okay, over here. Okay, now I can either upload my image or use the media library to get the image over here, or I can insert the image from the URL. So whichever the images that I have already taken into the media library can be imported onto my post in this way. Or an image in the local machine can be uploaded here as well. Now let's talk about comments. Originally, WordPress came out as a blogging platform. And as we all know, a blog is basically a collection of posts. Users can read these posts and can leave a message to each one. Those messages are called comments. Now, even though WordPress has evolved in all this time, and it's now so much more than just a blogging platform, a comment system is available. So let's look at how and what comments are all about and how we can manage them inside WordPress. So let's start by going to the front end. Let's click on a post that we have. And when we scroll down, we see that there's one comment on this post. So we have the date and the time that the comment was published. And it's a message that already came with WordPress by default. And this is the body of the comment. By clicking on edit, we can go to the backend where we can edit the name, the email, the URL, and also the body of that particular comment. Or since we are on the front end at the moment, we can reply to the comment by clicking this. So as you can see, here we can edit the comment. Here on the front end, we can see the avatar of the WordPress commenter. And now let's move into talking about sidebars and widgets. The use of these represent a very simple way of customizing the look and functionality of your website. They have been around for a long time and they are super easy to work with. So let's see what they are and how to add and remove widgets from your website. So we will be starting at the front end. And let's see what a sidebar looks like. Usually the entire area on the right side is considered to be a sidebar. And each individual section where it says recent posts, archive, recent comments, categories, all of these are widgets. So this entire area can be considered as a sidebar, while the separate sections, recent posts, recent comments, etc., are considered to be widgets. The way a sidebar and a widget looks like depend on the theme. It depends on the theme that you have installed. When you say sidebar, you think of something on the side, maybe something that would be on the right side. And in most cases, a sidebar would be positioned on the right side. You would have the typical page layout with content on the left, probably around 75% of the page, and the rest of the 25% is dedicated to the sidebar. But there are cases when the sidebar looks like this. In other situations, there are sidebars in the footer where you would see columns. That's also considered a sidebar, even though technically it is not on the side of the page, but it is on the bottom of the page. But in the backend of WordPress, we define them as sidebars anyway. We can access sidebars and widgets by going to the dashboard, appearance. We have themes, customize, widgets, menus, background. Let's go to widgets. Here, the first section is for available widgets, which means all the widgets available in your theme. And on the right, you can find the sidebars. In this case, footer is the name of the sidebar. And there's a little description here to say that you can add a widget here to appear in your footer. So the widgets that you have here are displayed in the front end. So if we go here and click on search and say delete, and if I go to the front end and refresh it, as you see, The widget for search is deleted. It was over here before, but now it's not there anymore. And the only two widgets that you can see are recent posts and recent comments, which are visible over here as well. Moving on, every website nowadays has some sort of menu with links to various pages, and this is used as the primary means of navigation. WordPress actually makes this task of creating menus really simple for us. So let's look at how we can create menus. To create a menu, we need to go to Appearance, Menus over here. Here you can see that all of the menus that are created are visible over here, and we can create a new one. So let's give our menu a name. Let's call this My Menu. And then hit enter. And now our menu is created. So now what we have to do is basically select which items we want in our menu. Do we want pages? Okay. Let's say add to menu. And then do we want these posts? I'll say I want hello world post. Add to that. Then if I want any custom links or categories, I can add them also to my menu. Now, once we have added these into the menu, we can change their order by simply dragging and swapping them. I can change the order as necessary if I need to do it. This is especially necessary if we are trying to create menus and sub menus, or if there are sub items and if we want to order them, then this works. This comes in handy. And then we can also give a display location as primary menu or secondary menu. So each theme has one or more menu locations defined. After we have created our menu, all we have to do is to assign a menu location. Is it at the top of the page or the top of the website in the main header, or is it at the bottom of the page in the footer, or is it somewhere on the side, maybe in the sidebar? Where these locations are depends from theme to theme. But to find the locations we have, we can go to manage locations over here. Let's save the work that we did. And let's go to manage locations. As you can see, this theme has these menu locations, the primary and the secondary. So if we are to define our menu here in the primary location, and if we save it, we will be able to see our menu in the theme location primary menu. So let's select this and let's say save changes. Let's go to our site and okay, so here is our menu. It is at the top of the page at the location called primary menu. We can select the secondary one as well if we want. So we can get it out of this and maybe put it into this. Or if we want, we can keep the menu in both locations. That's also possible. And of course, we can assign it to another location as well according to the theme. And then if we go to edit menus again, so I have my menu. If I want to delete my menu, then I can do so. And when I hit refresh, the menu will be gone from my site. Now, a huge part of WordPress is the ability to customize and look. We can customize the look and feel of the front end or the actual website that we are building. It is a content management system, but a hugely important fact is that we can customize it. There are multiple ways that we can do it. So let's look at one of them, which is called the WordPress Customizer. So let's try to see what it is and how we can use it to change various aspects of the front end. So we need to be at the back end of WordPress to access the customizer. We can go to Appearance, Customize, and this will open up this editor, where on the right side we have the actual preview of the front end over here, except without the icons which are just visible in the editing mode. And this is just to edit certain parts. And then on the left side, we have a sidebar with information about our project and also various categories for different settings. So WordPress demo is the name of our WordPress installation. It tells us which theme is currently active. We'll talk about themes in detail in a while. But let's go through these categories to see what they are about. Site entity allows us to upload a logo, or we can change the site title. We can add a tagline and also a site icon. So the site icon is a small thing that you see on your site, and you can even change it. So it's actually this favicon that you see over here. You could either change it if you have one already, or you can select a site icon as you wish. Then under colors and dark mode, we can select a background color, and if we want dark mode, then we have support for that. And then background image, that's also possible. You can select an image for the background of the site, and then going into menus, my menu is what I created earlier. If I want to create more menus, then I can do so. So it's over here. And the locations for the menus are here. If I want, I can add my menu to this as well. And in the preview, I will be able to see it over here. So it basically comes at the bottom of the page as well, in addition to the top of the page. And if I want to publish it, I can do so by clicking that. And then going back, we have widgets. So there are two widgets as we discussed before, the recent post and the recent comments. If I want to add another widget, I can do that. If I want to reorder, I can just drag and drop. So as you can see, the location, the position of the widgets change, and if any change is necessary, then I can do it and then publish. Then I have home page settings. Here I can choose what's displayed on the home page of my site. What's being displayed could be a post, or it could be just a static page which doesn't change. So here I have chosen my latest post to be in the home page. If not, I can choose static page as well. If I choose a static page, then I will have to create two pages, so that one will become the home page and the other will be wherever that my posts are displayed. So for the moment, what is displayed on my home page is my latest post. Then I have these settings to show what will be displayed on the archive pages. So I can either choose to display a summary or the full text. So what I have chosen is just to show a summary on the archive page. And then if I want any additional CSS styling to be added, then I can do so to change the appearance and the layout of my site. And then over here, the customizer also has a very useful feature for previewing your pages on 3 different screen sizes. What we looked at so far is a larger size. You can think of it as a desktop size. But you can click these icons to change how it looks on different devices. This is probably a tablet, and this could be a mobile phone. And you can also see how the menus look like. As you can see, your menus are shown over here. Okay, so Now you need to, if you need to use another theme, then how can we do so? Where can we get themes? How can we install them? And how can we modify them to suit our needs? What makes WordPress so successful in the theme system? Basically, at its core, WordPress is a skeleton. You then need to add a theme on top of that to first display the content. Second, to style how your content, your website looks and feels like, so it matches your brand, your design guidelines, and so on. So now let's look at what WordPress themes are about, where you can get them, how we can install them, and also how we can modify them at a very basic level. So a theme needs to be placed at the top of the WordPress core in order to, first of all, display any kind of content. And to see how a theme looks like from a code point of view, let's go to Appearance Themes. Here we can see all of the themes that are installed, and currently the active one is this 2021. We can search a theme, we can get a new theme if we want. Then if we go to theme editor over here, let's click I understand here, because this is kind of a warning that tells us if we make any direct changes to the theme files that we might break things or change its functionality. So let's just hit I understand. And here you can see all of the theme files and folders. And it can open each individual one, and you'll see the theme code over here. When we click on the file, we can see the theme code on this side. This is not quite complex. It's just a lot of code to go through. So if you're just getting started with WordPress themes, there's no need to make any changes to any of the theme files, because if there's any mistake, then it might damage or break the things. Now let's go back to themes and let's try to change our theme. So this is what we're using now. If I want to change it to this, when I take my cursor onto it, I can go to theme details. It basically tells you the name of the theme, the version, the author, and also a list of tags and a description. So the tags usually refer to the features of the theme, and then we have a screenshot of the theme as well. So we have two choices over here. we can either activate the theme immediately, and by doing that the new theme will go live on your website, or you can do a live preview. And by doing the live preview, you can basically see how the theme would look like on your website without actually publishing it, or without actually making the change live. And once you're happy, you can hit activate and publish. Or if you're not happy, you can take it back. So let's see the live preview. So this is how the site is going to look like with the new theme. If I like it, then I can activate and publish. If not, I'll just go back. Say I like it by some chance, then I'll activate it. Then I'll go to my front end and refresh. As you can see now, the look and feel is entirely different from what was there before. The menu has changed, the location, the position, almost everything has changed. I have sidebars, and the sidebars contain these widgets. So the theme has given me a different look. Let's go back to the backend and go to menus to see what changes are there in this theme. So let's see the locations. So as you can see, in the previous theme, we only had 2 locations, but here we have 3. We have primary, footer menu, and social links menu. So if I want, I can add another menu to social links as well and save the changes so that the menu will be displayed in that location as well. And if I hit refresh over here, I will be able to see the new menu addition in that place. By default, WordPress comes with pre-installed with these 3 themes, but you can add your own theme. So here you have featured, popular, latest, favorites. You have categories from which you can choose themes. There are details as well. So you can choose a theme and activate it. Or if there are any other themes, you can upload them. Choose a file. Moving on, we are going to look at WordPress plugins. So a plugin basically is a piece of software that provides extra functionality. WordPress has support for plugins, and it actually has a variety of plugins you can choose from. So let's look at what WordPress plugins are about how to install them and how we can manage them. So you can go to plugins in the dashboard. So you will see a list of installed plugins here. So the plugins need to be activated in order for them to work. You can click this and activate them. So let's activate this plugin. Select activate, select apply. Okay. Now this plugin is activated. If you want more plugins, let's go to add new. So there are so many plugins that we can install or activate. Again, there are several categories using which we can install the plugins. So each plugin has a description as well, which says what activity or what task each plugin serves. And then let's go to managing users in WordPress. By default, WordPress starts with one registered user, the admin. But of course, you can add more and you can control what those users have access to. Which means you can set individual permissions for each and every user. So here, when you go to users in the dashboard, you can see that admin is over here, and that's me. And if you want to add a new user, you can do so. If there's anything that you want to edit in the existing user, then there's the option edit, or you can just view. You can edit the personal options. You can give a color scheme to each of the users. So the default one was this. And then I can change my details. And then if there's any biography that I would like to give, then I can give that as well. Then I can say update profile once I'm done updating the information over there. If I want to add a new user, I can do so by giving a username, email, first name, last name, website, and give a strong password. If I want to send the user a notification, then I can do so through the email. And then I can assign a role to my user. And finally, I can say add new user. So each of these roles will have different permissions. So certain sections will not be accessible by certain roles. For example, certain media pages, comments, tools may not be accessible by certain roles. An editor will have access to more things than a contributor. So if you change the role to something else, then permissions will change. Now let's look at the tools that are available. So here, if I have any posts or comments that I would like to get into WordPress, then I can do so through this. I can choose the system from which I want to import. Similarly, if I want to export posts or pages or media, then I can ask WordPress to do so that it will generate an XML file for me to save the data to my computer. And then when I go to site health, I will be able to see critical information about my WordPress configuration. And if there are any items that need my concern, then those will be showed as well. For example, there is one critical issue at the moment, and there are 3 recommended improvements as well. The next option is export personal data. So I can comply with the laws and export data of a known data for a user. Similarly, if I want to erase those data, then again I can do so by complying with the rules and regulations. And then in settings, I have the site title, taglines, URL, and date, time, etc. There are many categories in settings as well. And then I have writing settings. Here we have the reading settings. So likewise, we have settings for discussion, media, links, and finally privacy. If we want to host our WordPress site, then there are many hosting sites that we can use. For example, we have 000 web host, This is an easy hosting platform that we can use to host our WordPress site. So we could use any of the free hosting platforms or paid hosting platforms in order to host the website that we need. So that will be all for this video series where we discussed WordPress. I really hope you learned a lot from it. Now we are going to look at another similar example, something similar to WordPress, which is called Drupal. So when we are trying to work with Drupal, just like WordPress, we need XAMPP or MAMP to work with Drupal as well. So I have XAMPP and MAMP, and since those are already installed, I'll get Drupal to my computer. Once this folder is downloaded, I will extract it, and just like I did before with WordPress, I shall copy the file and paste it in htdocs in the MAMP folder, or if it is XAMPP, then I will paste it in the htdocs of the XAMPP folder. So once the file is downloaded, extract it, and we shall paste it in the corresponding folder. Once we copy the Drupal file into htdocs, just like we did in WordPress, we need to create a database in phpMyAdmin. And then once we have done that, we can go to localhost and follow the same steps that we followed when we were working with WordPress, where we gave the database name, username, and the password. And once the configuration is done and Drupal is installed, we will be taken to the dashboard, the Drupal dashboard, which will look like this. So here, just like we did in WordPress, we have several options in the dashboard. The same things that we discussed earlier can be followed in here as well. So we can create a blog or a website using Drupal as well. The working process, installation process, everything is quite similar in Drupal to the process that we did in WordPress before. Both are content management systems and they can be used to create blogs, websites, etc. And it's easy to handle the website through the dashboard, which serves as the backend. This is the end of this video series on content management systems. Thank you for watching.